Welcome, Mauricio Palacio, to Master AI Disruption, our podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. Mauricio Palacio is the founder and CEO of a company called Eventtia. He will tell us all about it. They're based out of the US with offices all around the Americas and Europe. So welcome, Mauricio. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Francis, for having me. I'm very happy to spend this time with you.
Of course, my pleasure. It was great to have those 3 sessions with you and understand better your business. So without much ado, why don't you tell us your story of origin? What got you here? From Colombia, I think originally, now in South America,
Yes,
in Europe, in the States, to become a global citizen. Tell us more.
absolutely. So, Francis, yes, I was born Colombian, but I lived half my life in France, in Paris, where I became an engineer. I worked for a long time with Accenture, so that's what took me closer to the technology business. And then at a point, I decided that I wanted to be more owner of my own destiny. I wanted to become independent and to become an entrepreneur. And I went back to my sources to Colombia, found a technical co-founder, and created Eventtia, which we launched from the very beginning from the US, but in multiple languages, in French, in Spanish, in English. That's why it has given us such a big reach, across different countries. And my founder had an experience in the events industry, and he's the one who had that industry background. I was fascinated by the business and by the industry. We partnered up, I would say, very early on with the objective of getting this project that was very local out of Colombia into different geographies. And we started this idea of building technology for events and helping organizations bring people together, drive event programs. And we've done it across many different industries, many different companies, many different geographies. And soon is going to be 11 years in the company. And we've been through a big set of transformations. The pandemic was a great shift in how we operate because events mean getting together, and that was forbidden for almost 2 years, where we had to reinvent everything about events, getting together, meeting people, making connections, communicating. And right now we're riding this AI transition, which is also a big, deep transformation. So yeah, that's at a very high level where we come from and my personal history.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, congratulations. Okay, that's quite a journey. And I would love to hear more about Eventtia itself. So why don't you tell us
Yes.
who are your ideal clients, how many of them you have now, how many people work for the company? Just like to situate your business in terms of size and unique value proposition. What makes you different than others?
Yes. So we are in an industry that's called event management software. We create software applications for event management to run and organize events. So we cover basically the whole life cycle of what doing an event is, from building landing pages, registering attendees. That's kind of the core of what we do, is registering attendees, managing attendee logistics, sending communications, controlling access to events. You get a ticket, you get a QR code, and that can happen in many different use cases. So we have apps that allow our customers to control the doors at events and at many different activities, and of course, drive all the reports and analytics out of all of this. There are many satellite things around this. We enable people to connect in events with networking applications. We also offer attendee engagement applications. So every time you go to a conference, you have an app with your program, with your connections, with your value in the app. And I was mentioning it earlier on, we have a whole suite for doing virtual and hybrid events, because since the pandemic now, we can meet both virtually and in person. Eventtia supports around 350 customers around the world, more on the enterprise level. So we can support one-shot conferences or events, but you were talking to me about your ideal client, where we're good in our sweet spot and where we deliver their most value is with organizations that run event-based programs, either for marketing or for operations, all year round, where they need beyond one single system to, again, maybe run one event. They need something to run their operations as they were running their e-commerce or their CRM, because it's really part of their operations. And to make that more clear, I'm going to tell you some of the great collaborations that we have. And one of our greatest customers and users is Nike Global. Nike has a very impressive membership program that has a big component on experiences, and Nike deploys that on their Nike member app. All the technology that runs experiences behind it is built by Eventtia. So there was a very beautiful integration, white label integration of our platform. That's like on the retail side. On the luxury industry, we have many interesting use cases. Cartier, Van Cleef& Arpels, Tiffany, Dior are all companies that do many brand activations, whether it's boutique openings, exhibitions, workshops, master classes, where they manage registrations with invitations, with segmentation. And they have a very important need of pixel perfect interfaces and very neat digital experiences. I always say that they put the same level of attention to their digital experiences as they do to their physical products. So the level of demand is quite high. We have, again, extensive collaboration with them. And then we go to, wider ranges. We support many universities, of course. Universities in higher education run a lot of event programs. So we support some of the greatest universities across Latin America and Europe. Government, trade associations. So we do support, again, ministries, governments, or agencies of national development that run a lot of events promoting their countries abroad for investment. So those are just a wide range of the type of events that we do.
Wonderful. So a great roster of clients, not easy to get, I'm sure. So how many people are behind those events and technology,
Yeah, well, I would say we remain a small team. We are a bit more than 40 people today. We're deliberately, a small team. We enjoy being a remote first company, widely distributed, and that also allows us to give the level of, I would say, boutique services that we do have with these corporate clients.
So tell me in one word, what does Eventtia stands for? What is your mantra in terms of value proposition?
I would say connection. And when I say connection, our main mission is enabling our customers of bringing people together. And everything we do is to enable those moments where we can be together, mostly in person, because that's often when the magic happens. And I think that mission and that word, Francis, has been taking more meaning as we go into this AI transformation, because we're being flooded more and more by an infinite content generated by AI. And we're seeing more and more the importance and relevance of the human connection and authenticity and personality. And we realize that we are in a privileged place, in a privileged industry, because I think as everything gets automated more and more, the value of the human connection is more and more important. So I would say that's a word that is really in the middle of our value proposition and our values.
Got it. And I'm sure that the same with your clients themselves, like the roster of 350 companies that you have around the world are, treasured relationships, and you put a lot of intention in there. However, what about the SaaS apocalypse, that people talk about? So I understand the relationship that you have with your clients. I see the value that you deliver, but the technology in between that you've put together is more and more accessible, let's say. So what's the challenge there to stay relevant in this SaaS apocalypse time, so to speak, Tell me more.
Yeah, of course, it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. I think we are at a moment where we see how these technologies are unfolding with very high expectations. Everybody's wondering, where is the ROI? What am I really winning? But we're all being overwhelmed. We're being surprised by the magic things that we can do. And I'm going to tell you what we're doing. I think that instead of looking this on the apocalypse side, I think that what this AI is doing, especially in our industry, is that is inversing the product architecture. Because one of the hardest things when you build software for events is making simple solutions, which is almost impossible. I always say that events are like haute couture, high fashion, where everything has to be tailored to a very specific model, something very unique. Every event is unique and every event has different problems, but actually the platform has to support them all. And what you realize is that, the big incumbents in our industry, and I would say Eventtia could be part of that, we've built feature-rich platforms that have a trade-off, which is user simplicity. So you have things like Eventbrite in the market, who are ticketing registration solution, very straightforward and simple, that will respond to a very straightforward case. On the other side, you would have event management software who will cover for more elaborate use cases. That comes with, again, interfaces, workflows that can be complicated. The beauty of AI when you integrate it in this context is that you're no longer needing to access user interfaces, but you can use your natural language.
Mhm.
And you don't have to master lots of screens and checkboxes and variants in a platform, but you can explain to an agent what you want to do. And what we're doing right now is that, and again, I would say that's one of the core things that we do in Eventtia, and it's been for a while. That's the reason why, for example, one Fortune 500 company like Nike chose Eventtia for their product is because our APIs and the APIs are the doors through the MCP, which is the Model Context Protocol, to an agent interaction with the software. And what we're doing right now is that we are turning our platform towards our MCP. And again, exchanging, I would say, the limitations that you may have in product design, because you want to do something that is powerful, but you do want to have a product that is simple to use. And those things are in contradiction many times. When you bring AI, you have an opportunity of enabling our users to build more scenarios in a more easier way than what we do today. So we're excited about it. And actually, we have many transformation projects under development that are based on AI.
So what I'm hearing is that unlike softwares where there's a tension between simplicity and power of the platform and features of the platform, today AI kind of reduces that tension greatly by making.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see different example today. Salesforce launched their platform as headless, completely accessible through an agent. And for example, all the ad campaigns, ad platforms like Meta or Google, those are quite complex products. In the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot of noise because Meta launched their official MCP, which is allowing now anyone to manage their campaigns through natural language, through Claude or through another agent. So it really reduces, abstract a lot of the complexity that you have in interfaces.
Incredible, incredible, beautiful. So for you, so let's talk about the next level of your business. Okay, so I'm sure you work very hard to get those accounts like Richemont and Nike for 10 years and to keep them. So what's your next level in terms of more clients, in terms of different vertical, in terms of geography? I don't know. Tell me, or in service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our next step is we've gathered, again, 11 years of experience in this industry. We know very well the access of value where we have something to bring. I was telling you that Eventtia is tailored for enterprise companies with large event programs. And Eventtia has today, I would say, a certain level to access the platform because it covers so much. So we do have bespoke services for our customers to help them to implement them. What we're doing now, especially that AI is with us, is that we are transforming our product into a product-led offer where our customers are going to be and use it in self-service, and they're going to leverage, again, agents to build their events. So what we're doing is we're preparing the launch of a new product. And our objective is that you say, I'm the human company. I'm going to make a seminar in LA for 60 people. I'm going to have 2 types of participants. And just with natural language, we're going to process that. And we're going to tell you, this is your page. This is your marketing campaign. This is your registration form. That's going to be just for you, maybe 1 minute into, making your event description. And we're going to default everything for you. So you have something practically ready to go. So that's our next step. And we want to have a product now that is not in the hundreds, but in the thousands or tens of thousands of reach. So we're, I would say, also inversing how our business works, and we're going into something much more massive.
Okay. Wonderful. And I'm sure that AI has a big participation in this, of course, in making this possible at cost
Absolutely.
incomparable to what it used to be, in development.
Absolutely. And we're going to offer this for a fraction of the price of what our services are done today.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. So, all right, so that's clear. The roadmap is clear. So what would you see as being your biggest obstacles potentially? And what are you thinking of to overcome them?
Yes. I would say for me right now, and especially Francis, now that we're talking about, this SaaS apocalypse and the impacts of AI, SaaS software is becoming a commodity and it's becoming immediate. So anyone can develop an application and anyone can develop an app. The hardest thing today is distribution. The real moat is your community. I see that the hardest thing today remains not developing the product, because actually the barriers to develop a product are coming down, but the competition is going up in terms of visibility and distribution. So I would say the hardest challenge and obstacle is to remain visible, to remain discoverable in a world where traditional SEO is changing, where now people are discovering products more through ChatGPT or Cloud instead of Google. So that's the challenge. And it's been probably for the last 2 years a learning path, because all of us have been discovering this at high speed and things are changing very fast. But I think on my side that I'm finally thinking that I understand where things are going in terms of search and how we need to repurpose our value proposition, we need to build a website, how do we need to explain what we do, because the way internet works today for search is very different than a couple of years ago. So we are recentering the message. And for me, again, that remains the main challenge.
Do you do advertising at all?
Yes, we do. We do mainly ad-based with Google. So Google AdWords is one of our traditional channels.
Nothing with Meta?
Not really, not so much. Meta is good for, in our case, for remarketing, but our buyer, who is usually an enterprise buyer, is someone who is at a consideration phase and is not looking on Instagram or Facebook for our kind of product. So yeah, our buyer has typically historically been driven by Google search, whether it's organic or paid.
What about LinkedIn?
We're present on LinkedIn. We communicate on LinkedIn, but we don't do LinkedIn ads. But LinkedIn is a hub where we are present, where we share content. And actually, LinkedIn has been taking a more important part on, I would say, in my consideration, especially because LinkedIn has become the second most cited source in LLM search. So being present in LinkedIn with a clear message aligned with our value proposition and our offer is more and more relevant, because it also drives good signals for AI to support our discoverability.
Sure. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. That's where they go, right? Sure, absolutely. That's why. Yeah, I read that too. Okay, so now the big question: if you had a magic wand and you can wave it, what are the 2 things that you would change immediately? Not in the economy, not in politics, not in climate change, whatever, or viruses, but within your circle of influence. What is it that you would change in your operations and in your growth engine?
Yes. Well, I would say it's lovely to have a magic wand, and it sounds magical. I would say that's part of what we're doing. That magic wand is we want to have a higher scalability. If I could, from one day to another, I want to be able to drive to host thousands of users in my platform without having to increase my team to 500 people. And we're doing that by re-architecturing our product, as I was mentioning, building a product that is more self-service, very focused, very opinionated, and very AI-based. So that's, I would say, number one. And second would be, I would tell you to be on position number one of Google every time. Google would be our being there. That's always been a good lead acquisition machine. But again, I feel that that's less and less relevant. Google will be relevant, but the way people used to find tools a couple of years ago is not that anymore. So we're also acting on it. But yeah, I would say to be on top position on GPT, on Cloud, that would be great for us.
So you said opinionated services are easy to use. What do you mean by opinionated?
That's a word that I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. When we say opinionated, is that we have a clear view of how things should be done. Our current project today, Eventtia Connect, we call it, is not opinionated, because we allow our customers to go around everything, to customize everything. And we've somehow accepted that it's a platform, somehow general purpose in events where they can build whatever they want. So yeah, opinionated means we have an opinion, and this is how you should do it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you do have I don't know if you're familiar with Basecamp, a project management tool. It's a poster child of what opinionated means. It's very opinionated, and they are deliberately so. They want their things to be very simple. They know what they do, and even if the customer said we want this, or they would say no. This is how it happens, because if we start catering for all those cases and wishes, we're gonna kill the simplicity of the product. So it's an important value that we define for the new product that we're launching is to be opinionated.
Wonderful. Well, I think you've shared a lot. I understand how opinionated means ease of use and means therefore also scalability. Yeah, I get it.
Absolutely, you got it.
Paradoxically. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much, Mauricio. I think there was quite a few insights that you shared with us. All the very best of luck to go through those transitions. I think you're well equipped to succeed as well. I heard the challenges that are very commonly shared in your industry, not only event, but let's say tech-based enterprises like yours. Thank you very much. All the very best. And maybe we'll meet you again in 1 year, good to see your
Yeah,
progress.
it was great talking to you. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.